All right, hello people. So today we are solving using the quadratic formula. So basically, when nothing else is an option, this is what we use. So the quadratic formula is x equals negative b or opposite b. I'll write that in there. Opposite b. Continuing, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. And this entire thing is a fraction, and that's over 2 times our a. So going back through our stuff, we started out with the discriminant last time. So we already know how to do that. Now we're just going to add on all of these other little pieces here. Okay, so let's take a look at these steps. It says make sure the problem is equal to 0. We need that to equal 0 because sometimes it won't be. And that will not give us like an accurate A, B, and C. So we need to change it first so we have everything on one side so we know what A, B, and C should be. Okay, next, plug in A, B, and C. Makes sense. You're going to plug in your numbers or your letters into this guy. Cool. Step number 3 is simplifying the radical, or same thing as finding the discriminant. So that was that little bit, again, that we already saw. That's that b squared minus 4ac part. Second, or last, simplify the rest of the equation. So that can mean many different things. The reason why this is the last thing that we learn in this Algebra 1 class is because that simplifying part can mean like dividing, it could mean simplifying the radical, it could mean adding things together, it could mean splitting things apart. It depends, okay? So that last part is a little bit difficult because you need to know what you're looking at, okay? But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's start out by trying this problem. Over here we got our example, x squared plus 5x plus 4 equals 0. So step number 1 said that we need to make sure it equals 0. It equals 0. Awesome. Step number 2, plug in A, B, and C. So let's see. For this question, we have A, that's 1, B is 5, C is 4. We're going to plug that into this big equation here. Now for this, I'm going to start all the way over here because these take up quite a bit of space. So I'm going to start with x equals, then I need my opposite b. B in this question was 5, positive 5, so I'm going to make that a negative 5, so it's opposite. Plus or minus the square root of b squared. Okay, b again was 5. Negative 4. A and C. Let's see, my A is 1. My C is 4. Cool. This entire thing is a fraction over 2 times A, which again was 1. So again, like I said during the discriminant, you need to double check your work. Negative B. Got it. Sorry. Negative B was right here. Plus or minus square root b squared, negative 4 times a times c, giant fraction over 2 times a. Got it. Okay. Once we have that down, then we can start simplifying the radical or finding our discriminant. That's step number 3. So I need to make this part smaller. Now what's going to happen is only this part is going to be worked on. All of this other stuff is going to stay exactly the same. So I'm just going to start by copying down everything else except for what is in those or under that radical. So let's see. I got 5 squared. Okay, based on last time, I know that 5 times 5 is going to be the same thing. 5 times 5 is going to be 25. So I'm going to put a 25 into this new radical. Okay, next part. I got negative 4 times 1. That is negative 4 times my 4. Cool. That's going to be negative 4 times 4. That is 16. Negative 16. So I'm going to take that and write that right here. Negative 16. Oops, not right there. Right here. Cool. I have simplified my radical a little bit. I still need to keep going with that. So let me do it. Again, I'm going to just rewrite this. I want everything else to stay the same. The only thing that's going to change is what's underneath that radical sign. So I'm going to keep all this. I'm going to do 25 minus 16. 25 minus 16 is going to be 9. So I got 9 underneath my radical. Okay, cool. All right. Now I've gotten to a point where I have a single number here. Again, thinking back to that discriminant, what you're going to do is start finding factors. I know that 3 times 3 will give me 9, so that's my match. I don't have any leftovers, so when I rewrite this again, you're just going to keep rewriting. I'm going to keep all of this stuff the same. 5 plus or minus over 2 times 1. That's all going to stay the same. And then the only thing I'm changing is this guy. I'm going to rewrite it. I had my factors. Both of them were 3s, so I could take that out. I don't have any leftovers, so I don't have a radical. Here's where we are now. This is what we got. So with that being said, I'm going to simplify this bottom part because the last step is to simplify what we have. I know that 2 times 1 is just going to be 2. And then I'm looking at this. I'm seeing that I have all whole numbers. Now, this is where it's going to change, okay? Not every problem is going to end this way. Sometimes they will end a different way, but you need to know what you're looking at first before you can tell or before you can start working on that. I'm looking at this and I see a bunch of whole numbers. I don't have any radicals left over. So what I'm going to do is split this problem up where I see that plus or minus sign like we did before with completing the square. Okay, so I have 2 options here. I'm going to draw an arrow. I got one option that's going to be negative 5 plus 3 over 2. And then I have one option that's going to be negative 5 minus 3 over 2. These are the same things. Only change is going to be that plus or minus sign. Okay, so I'm going to solve the top first. Negative 5 plus 3 is going to be negative 2 over 2. Negative 2 divided by 2 is going to be negative 1. That is going to be one answer. My second answer, I'm going to have negative 5 minus 3. That's going to be negative 8 over 2 equals a negative 4. That is my second answer. Like I said, it will not always end up this way. Sometimes it will be a little bit different. Because of that last step, step number 4 can mean many different things. Leading up to that, though, these first 3 steps will always be the same. Let's try one more. Okay, we have this guy. I'm looking at this. Step number 1 said that we needed to have everything equal to 0. I see this is not a 0, so let me change that. Plus 2 to both sides. Okay, I'm going to end up with x squared minus 10x. 9 plus 2 is going to be 11 equals 0. Now I can label my A, my B, and my C because now I have everything on one side. Okay, I'm going to take my pieces and I'm going to plug them into my equation. I have the equation memorized. I'm not expecting you to have it memorized, but it is going to be x equals the opposite of b, which is going to be positive 10 for us, plus or minus the square root of b squared, which again was 10, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 11. Whole thing is a fraction over 2 times our a, which is 1 again. Cool. From here, I'm going to do step number 3, which is simplifying the radical. Here's my radical. I'm going to simplify this. Just like we did last time, I'm just going to copy down all that extra stuff because I do not need it yet. Okay, I'm only focusing on what's here, and I'm going to transfer that to this part. So looking at negative 10 squared, I know that's negative 10 times negative 10. That will give me positive 100. So I'm going to put that into my radical. Then I'm going to do the next part. We had negative 4 times 1. That's going to be negative 4 times 11. That is going to be negative 44. Cool. Negative 44 is going to go right here. I'm going to simplify this part next, just like we did in our discriminant. So I got the rest of this stuff staying the same. Only thing that's changing is what's underneath that radical. I got 100 minus 44. That is a question for my calculator because I don't know that off the top of my head. 56. Cool. Now that I have a single number under here, I'm going to start finding my factors. Let's see, factors of 56. I believe 56 could be 7 times 8. Okay, this 8, let's break that down. I know that's 4 times 2. 4, I'll break that down. Okay, I'm down to just prime numbers. I see that I have 2 2s here, but I also see that I have a 7 and a 2 that are left over. Those do not have matches, so those have to stay inside. So again, I'm going to rewrite this. I got x equals 10 stays the same. Everything is still going to be over 2 times 1. And let's see, I'm going to take my pairs, write those on the outside. That's 2. Leftovers stay inside. For my leftovers, I have 7 and 2. So I can multiply those together and get 14. Okay, I'm taking a look at this. I'm simplifying. I'm seeing that I still have this 2 times 1. Again, that's going to be the same thing as just 2. That is the bell. And then I'm taking a look at this, and I'm seeing that I have outside numbers here. And I'm seeing that I have this fraction bar. Remember, the fraction bar is the same thing as a giant division symbol. So I can divide the 10 by 2 and the 2 by 2. But what I'm going to leave alone is going to be this radical. This radical can be left by itself. It can't be divided, added, anything like that. So I'm just going to leave this alone. But I will divide the other parts. So 10 divided by 2 is going to give me 5. 2 divided by 2 is going to give me 1. And my square root will stay the same. You do not have to write in that 1 if you don't want to. So this will be my answer. Again, like I said, these aren't going to look the same every time because you can't always do the same simplification. But if you do have questions, please let me know and I will help you. I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.